episode today, we're going to interview one of my successful student whom I interviewed I think that was last year, 11 months ago. And I invited him again in this interview so that we can get an update on him. So I followed up with him and I learned that he's on the way to 1 million sales this year, like hopefully, right? And let's pick his brain and see what are the things that he's doing that making him so successful. Okay, let me introduce my student, John. Hi, John. Can you introduce yourself first for those who didn't watch your past interview, first interview that we did, so they can catch up on who you are. So just introduce yourself, who you are, what did you do before doing Amazon, what's your background?
First thing first is a shoe reseller, and ever since that the shoe market fell apart, I started doing Amazon FBA, and I have been doing Amazon FBA for the last a year.
A
Yeah.
year. I think you took my
Mhm.
course maybe December or January.
Yeah, that's correct. Since I saw you from one of the ad from Facebook, I think, or Instagram, and I saw that you're from Canada as well.
So what made you start looking for something like Amazon in the first place? Was there a moment that you decided you needed to make a change? What made you decide, okay, I want to be an Amazon seller?
Yeah, why I wanted to be an Amazon seller is because I was trying to focus on the business of what people will want and need at the same time, not just shoe reselling. Is like people will only want it, right? And with that's when I found out Amazon is pretty much the same thing as what I was doing before. I was consigning shoes, and when I found out for Amazon FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, you can pretty much just send the product to Amazon and they'll do everything for you. And that's when I found out that's a good idea to start when I was leaving the reselling shoes behind.
So there's a
Mhm.
lot of choices actually in selling on Amazon. There's private
That's
label,
correct.
wholesaler, and then arbitrage. And I teach arbitrage as a way to start. So do you think that's a good idea to start with arbitrage instead of doing other, like for example, other methods as well, like wholesale or anything like that? Is there an advantage of selling arbitrage first before moving in wholesale or brand direct or private?
Yeah, I started arbitrage method because it's the easiest thing to do. And why that is because with Amazon arbitrage, you can learn few things without risking too much at the same time. And that's like learning how to read the keeper graph, sourcing product, and making sure that the product is good as well. And because if you start wholesale right away and you bought like 1,000 units and you don't even know it's moving well, that's how you would burn a lot of money, and that's why I highly advise doing arbitrage.
Yeah, I remember on the first interview, you mentioned something that you got burned with buying a lot of units. Is that
That's
correct?
correct.
So
Yeah.
so it was that wholesale that you did? Like in the beginning, you rushed into buying too much. Is that a wholesale that
Uh,
you did? Or it's
no, it
just
was.
arbitrage, but you went deep?
Yeah, I went deep on that one because like I had a fear of missing out, and then that's when the brand I think filed an IP compliant, and that's when I got burned.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it didn't keep you from quitting Amazon. So a lot of people, if they get burned like that, and then there's IP complaints and stuff like that, they would quit instantly. So what made you
that's
decide
correct.
to stay that, okay, I'll still make it work even if I lose money on this one? What made you decide you want to continue Amazon?
What made me decide? I always have the mindset of like every time I would fail at something, I would just take it as a lesson and grow from it instead of just like quitting and that's it. Like risking is something I always do, like ever since I was like 18. And now I'm 21, and as well the reason with that is I'm still young, so like my responsibility are not really that high compared to if I'm 30 or
Wow.
if
So
I have a family as well. Yeah.
that's amazing, John. For a young kid, like 21 years old, I think you are so matured and I think you're on the right track because a lot of people
Mhm.
doesn't know that really entrepreneurship can give you so much possibility of if you're an employee, it's just the same over and over. But
That's correct. Yeah.
as an entrepreneur, there's so much yes, the risk is higher, but the possible outcome is also higher. So I'm glad that at the young age you already have that attitude and you are
Mhm.
really embracing entrepreneurship. I know that there's going to be lots of ups and downs. It will make you better and better each time. So let's move forward with the course that you took. So you took the Start, Grow, and Profit Beginners course from me, and then you also took our Mastermind. So
That's
on
correct.
all those things that you learned from us, what is the one that helped you so much with your?
So the one that helped me a lot is reading the keeper graph because that's the most important thing, honestly. And the one that's like with the drop, the buyback, call that again, the drop on the keeper graph. So
Diba?
example, if there's
Mm-hmm.
10 drop,
Mm-hmm.
then that's a good news. But yeah, it's just reading the keeper graph. I don't want to give in too much details because yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So that's the one that helped you the most. So I guess I have my own way of doing it, which is the Kipa, the easy way. That's the one that you followed
that's the one. Yeah.
so much while you were doing the product research. Wow. So that's amazing. I'm glad, happy to know that really that one, because when I was also teaching one-on-one, that was the most challenging part for a lot of my students that I saw, is that they get stuck with Kipa because of too much information, and creating that made them decide to buy product really quick enough to be able to scale up faster as well. Let's talk about your results. So last year, you started January. I think you did the course January, and then by April you took the mastermind, right? So
Mhm.
I know that I interviewed you last year, and within 4 months you managed to hit, I think, 39K per month. So
That's correct.
how much sales did you end up having
Last year I did about like 600,000.
Wow. So with that
Mm-hmm.
600,000, what did you do to be able to get there faster? So a lot of people, it's hard for them to make, for example, go really quick as fast as that. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand because some people are like working full time. So with you, can you tell me your situation? Did you work full time on it? What did you do? What is your strategy to be able to hit that number last?
Like last year, to be 100% transparent with you, I wasn't really paying full attention with Amazon FBA because, but the fast track why that took me to 600,000 is because of my capital at the same time. So this is like an inventory game, right? And with that, I started delegating the things that I don't really need to work on. And that's like prepping, sourcing products. And with prepping, I have a team for that, which is my logistic team. And he's now my business partner as well. And with that, he's pretty much like every time product comes in, he's the one that's prepping for my products. And for my virtual assistant, I have never sourced ever since of hiring one for a year now, pretty much. And yeah, that's what fast tracked me. It's just like creating a team and making sure that they do every task that pretty much like they do every task that's like working in the business. And for my task, it's just working on the business. And
Okay,
that's like
so
growing the business as well.
yeah. So last year, did you still do arbitrage solely until December last year, or you start venturing on other ways of product sourcing?
When I hired my virtual assistant was like 3 months doing Amazon FBA. When 3 to 8 months is when I have never sourced online arbitrage product because my virtual assistant does that for me. And why my virtual assistant does that for me is because it's saving me a lot of time since I'm only paying them like $5 Canadian an hourly. And every time, like every day, they would give me leads like 5 to 10 a day as well. So I don't really need to source, and all I can just focus on is just buying and growing the business as well.
So that's all pure arbitrage last
That's
that
correct.
time. Okay. So how many virtual assistant do you have? And are they only solely for product research, or they're also doing management?
So for my virtual assistant right now, she's really great. She's doing management and product research at the same time. But now, ever since we completely step away from online arbitrage, all she's doing is just reaching brand and finding brands to contact.
Okay. Wow. So you only have one and she do everything. Is that full time for you, like 40 hours a week that she works, or longer?
Yeah, she only works for me long for 8 hours a day, so it's full time. But
Hmm.
like I would always tell her as well to just work 8 hours a day and not do overtime, but she wants to do it.
Wow, you're lucky. So where
Mhm.
did you find this virtual assistant? Did you use any of the recommendation I gave, those Upwork and those kind of places, or did you find it? Did you find her on your?
I found her through online job PH, I think, or
Okay.
yeah, that one, that website.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
onlinejob.ph is where you can find virtual assistants, solely Filipinos. So they're focused on
Mhm.
Filipinos. So if you are looking for a virtual assistant, that's where you can find one. So that's where you find her, and she's really good with product research. But with product research, I thought you guys that you don't just allow them, because I just want to warn the audience that you just don't allow them to decide on what to sell. You
That's
have the
correct.
last say on that, right? So they
Mhm.
give you a list of leads that they found every single day, and then you look at it and you decide which one you're going to buy, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that's one of my important tasks is deciding what product to buy and how many product to buy. I don't give them my credit card unless I really trust them. But yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's still work in progress though.
Okay, so basically
Mhm.
you're still the one who's buying the products, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, so that was last year. So just to recap, so you're still doing full-time retail arbitrage on that, and then you hired a virtual assistant, one virtual assistant to help you with
Mhm.
product research and management. And then you also have prepper, like the one who prep your products, and
That's correct.
that person become your partner.
Mhm.
So after that, so this year, what's the changes that you did that you are forecasting to be 1 million in sales now? So what
So
are the changes?
so the changes is that we completely move from a different model, which is moving from online arbitrage to doing wholesale, but it is strictly brand direct only. And we pretty much work with brand direct to distributing their product on Amazon with providing services.
Okay, so let's make it clear. So wholesale, meaning it's like distributors or they carry so many different products, or is it really directly from the company itself?
It's directly from the company itself.
So it's like
Mhm.
really brand. So
Yeah, it's really brand.
so did you go into wholesale where, like, for example, you ordered from this aid company and they carry different things? Did you do that step after the arbitrage, or you went directly from arbitrage to brand?
We went straight to brand direct, and the only time we would only go with distribution where they offer different products is if the brand themselves recommended them to us, and that's the easiest approach as well to opening a distribution wholesale account.
Okay. So would you
Mhm.
say that your ASINs now, okay, your products, are they all like you completely get rid of all the arbitrage product that you have and just focus solely into the products that's being sold via the brand? Is that what you're
That's
doing
correct.
now?
Yeah, all the product that we're currently selling are only brand direct product.
And how many, how many ASINs do you have then? Is it now less than, because with arbitrage we buy a lot and we grow our store. So
That's
this time,
correct.
how many ASIN do you just have? So if you like the content that I am giving you, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get updated whenever I have a new video. So also, if you're a newbie and you need help or you just want to fast track your knowledge in Amazon selling, I do offer courses that can help you to start, grow, and scale your own Amazon business. Just email me at cheryl@cherylmarcinek.com and I can assess you and see what course is perfect for you.
From before when it was online arbitrage, it was like 200 ASIN. Now it's around like 20 to 30. And those ASIN, we can just replenish them whenever we want, whenever we're out of stock. Was out of stock.
Okay, would you recommend that to new beginners, basically? Would you recommend that to beginners to do this kind of method right away? Because a lot of people who inquire with me, usually they would say, "Oh, I don't want to do arbitrage. I want to do wholesale right away or sell a lot." Is that something that you would recommend if they're beginner?
No, I don't recommend it in terms of capital as well. If you have less capital, then arbitrage is the way to do first. Because with arbitrage, you only need like a few capital. But with brand direct, we usually make a purchase order of like $10,000, and that can varies from brand as well. Because like other brands have a minimum order quantity, and usually those minimum order quantities like a full truck load, and that's at around like 50,000 to 100,000. But that depends on the product as well, right? But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
uh-huh.
basically, if you don't have much capital, stick with arbitrage until you have that. So with you, let me ask you, so when you were starting, so I think this is one of the question of my student as well, my student who posted a question. So when you were starting, how much capital did you have when you started as a
So
beginner?
the my capital was 50,000 because I had a business before. I was reselling
Mm-hmm.
shoes. Then I liquidated all my shoes, then just did Amazon FBA. And that's how I also fast tracked my progress to 600,000 was because of my cap alone.
The
But yeah,
50,000. Oh,
50,000 capital.
yeah,
Correct.
because I know that last time that we interviewed you in the first 4 months, I think you said something like, I think 20,000. I forgot. So if you guys want to watch the interview, I'll post the link in the description and I will put the link and watch his first interview. So that time you actually said that you invested already, I think 20,000 or
That's
maybe
correct.
30,000. So after that, you invested more, totaling of 50,000 to reach 600K.
That's correct. Cause with that, when you interviewed me, I only spent that around like 20,000, and then after then it just started growing. That's when I started putting all my savings and then transitioning in and buying more product, and then that's when
Wow,
I
you're really a
just
risk
completely,
taker.
yeah, switched it all.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, how much is the ROI or profit with that one after all the expense?
For last year, we did at around, I think, 10 to 20% profit margin from that 600,000 in
Okay.
sales. Yeah, I can't really
And
disclose that as well since
yeah,
we're
yeah.
about, yeah.
But now that you transferred to brand direct, it better profit margin, would you say? Or
Yeah,
you're doing, some people, some sellers, they're willing to go lower, like for example, only 10%, but fast selling. How much you're making now that you are directly from the brand?
so if it's directly from the brand, other brand wouldn't budge on their price and their cost price, and that makes sense as well, right? Because usually if we work with brand and the usually like the minimum ROI we would take is break even just to build a relationship first, and then some brand, if we open the brand, ROI it would be like 50% return of investment, and others are like we're opening this brand as well and the ROI is at around like 100 to 700% each
Wow.
product.
So basically your strategy is, in the beginning, your strategy is to build relationship with them and then you renegotiate the price after,
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
But you're saying too that to be able to do that, you need to order really at least $10,000 per order.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, when we're building a relationship, if they have a minimum order quantity, as long as we know we're breaking, even though it's like 10,000, our minimum usually is 10,000 to 20,000 a purchase order, and afterwards that we can't go deep because we can just use that for other product that it's profitable. But then if we see a lot of potential with the brand, that's when we can go that's when we would go deep for it as well.
Are you already starting to create your own listings as well, or you're still sticking to get only what sell only whatever is already selling on Amazon?
That's what we're learning right now is the listing optimization. But at the moment, we're just like getting what we can sell on Amazon and pretty much providing services of advertising, and that costs money as well. So that's why brand love working with us because we provide service other than selling the product for them.
Okay. So you're really putting yourself into helping them as well to for their
Mhm.
brand to be known, which is a very good strategy if you are planning to do wholesale or brand direct. I think it's very important to build relationship, show them that you can give them value so that they can be loyal to you too, or they can give you more discount and stuff like that. So what made you transition to that? Did you just do research on the product, or is this the product that you had from arbitrage and then you just realized that it's selling well, so you contacted the brand? How did it work out for you?
So at first, since we had a lot of arbitrage product already, we started from that, which is contacting the brands that we are currently selling. And we would pretty much state that we are already selling your product on Amazon. Is there any chance we can sell the product as well through Brand Direct? And if that's the case, they would either say yes or not. And if they would decline it, just objection handle it. And then afterwards that we would just use reverse sourcing when sourcing for brands and outreaching them afterward.
Okay, so really like the arbitrage in a way still help for you to get the
Mm-hmm.
leads to be able to find the good product. And I think that's
That's
the
correct.
easiest way actually to test the product before going deep into that. Because let's face it, like with you, you're already going deep into different products because 30 ASINs with thousands of dollars on order every month, really like deep, but you tested. So it's also risky, but I think it's worth it if you know how to do it. And I would suggest, I think, for those of you who are new, don't do this if you don't understand very
That's
well
correct.
how to do the product research, because you can lose money on that, right? How many hours a week do you work now with the brand direct as compared to last year when you're doing arbitrage? And also, What are the responsibilities you do now as compared?
From before, I would just typically work 4 hours a day for the arbitrage. And
Mhm.
now, since I actually own a warehouse, actually taking this really serious, taking it to the next level, I would always work every day for 12 hours.
Wow, so you
And
also have a warehouse now.
that's correct. Yeah, that's one of my business partner right there. And he's one of my legit.
Wow, so you have a warehouse. That's amazing. So one of the biggest thing that you did is having a warehouse, because having a warehouse means that it's more headcount, I guess, and then responsibility financially because you need to pay every month. But what made you decide to have a warehouse instead of having just in your garage or in a basement like that? So what made you decide to push into opening a warehouse or renting a warehouse?
So why we pushed it to opening or owning a warehouse is because with the brand direct as well, if you're doing wholesale, you can't brand or wholesale. They wouldn't send it to your house because they don't want that. They rather prefer sending it to a business location. And
Hmm.
that's one of our main roadblock. And I don't wanna, cause like with Prep Center as well, it usually costs us money. And when we already have experience with it just made sense to own a warehouse and do it ourselves. But
Hmm.
yeah, Prep Center is great as well if you wanna completely not do anything with prepping wise. But if you wanna do it, then it's great to own a warehouse if it makes sense within your budget, with your net profit of how much you're making on the business.
Wow, John, like you've come a long way since just last year. I'm so really personally, I'm so proud of you at a young age of 21. You even I myself, I've been a seller for 7 years, but I'm too scared to rent a warehouse. But with you, you're really a risk taker and you
Yeah.
rent a, that means it's a big commitment. You really want to make this work. One thing that you will need to do is to not just on Amazon, but to grow your business outside of Amazon as well. I think there's a lot of potential on that, especially that you are doing brand direct, right? With
Mm-hmm.
you, what's your main responsibility now? Because you also have a partner. So can you give us an idea on what your responsibility is, what your partner's responsibility is, VAs, and whoever is helping you, what are your responsibilities? So the audience will have an idea on how to distribute the task for their own company.
So first thing first is I would always get my hand dirty with everything that I do with every task, like in general. And I would systemize that. And what I love doing the most is making the system. And I would just distribute if it's not worth my time of doing, example, like managing the business in terms of sourcing product. If that's like time consuming, then I would make an SOP and just give it to my virtual assistant, and that's they can watch that. I would tell them as well to update the SOP if they're doing it better than me. And with that, the next one is what I'm doing most importantly as well is restocking product, buying product as well. But yeah, like the most important thing that I would always do is just working on the business and growing the business as well. And for now, like what we're really focused the most is making the system and making the SOP. Mhm.
Yes, so SOP is standard operating procedure, and usually, basically what John said, it's system that you create for your business so that even if you step out of the business, it will run because they have something to follow. So
That's
you also do like recorded videos of everything and then put it
mhm.
in one file that you can just transfer to different employees, correct?
That's correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the other thing as well is since we're new with wholesale as well and with brand working with brand direct, since like my task for now is just like focusing on outreaching at the same time with and then teaching my virtual assistant. But then that's my main priority is just buying product and making sure that the product we're buying is okay to sell on Amazon, and as well growing relationship with brand. That's the most
Mhm.
important task that I'm doing. But other than that, if it comes with working in the business, meaning like prepping products, source, that's out of my task, and I let
Okay.
someone do that for me.
Yeah, so can you walk us through on your day-to-day operation as a business just to give us an idea? Like
Oh, okay.
also me curious on what do you do every day? For example, do you just work Monday to Friday? Do you source every week? Do you ship every week? Do you send a shipment every day? So what's your day-to-day operation like?
Oh, it's like for my business as a whole.
Yes.
Okay. So usually we would go here in the warehouse at around like 7 a.m. And my first task is to always work on brand direct because that's the things that's new for us. This is why like we would just I pretty much would just look at the email and see, okay, did any brand responded to us? And if they did, my first task is just respond to them right away and make sure that we're closing that brand as well. And the next one is if products comes in, I would just notify my I would call that again my preference, and he would just go here. If not, he would just stay at his house and just like work on outreaching as well, since he's one of my account manager as well with outreaching. Since and then but what he would focus first is working on the logistic, and the next thing is if he has nothing to do and he's in the warehouse, it's just outreaching brand, contacting brands, since I trained him as well for that. But yeah, like afterwards that it's just pretty much my whole day. It's just outreaching, closing brand, and contacting like hundreds of brands almost a day, like each day. And
Okay.
but yeah, that's pretty much everything. And just buying product and restocking product, just maintaining yeah, we ship product as well, like almost daily. Like our turnaround as well is if we get like 1,000 unit a day, we would always try to ship it within it's been delivered to our warehouse or the next day. But yeah, because if we don't ship it, that's we always try to prioritize getting the products delivered to Amazon.
Yeah, because shipping equals money, right?
That's
If you don't
correct. Yes.
ship, if you don't ship, you don't make money. So that's very good. So every day, basically, you're shipping something. So that's what you do. Okay. So what are the tools that you're using now? So there's so many tools I taught you. We showed you during the mastermind so that you can try. So which one did you keep? Like I'm curious of which one are you using that help you with your special, like maybe do it like this. What are the tools that you use when you're doing arbitrage that help you so much? And then what are the tools that you're using now to be able to do the sourcing for brand direct product?
Yeah, with that, it's much cheaper if you're doing arbitrage because with arbitrage, all you really need is seller amp. And if you want to go above and beyond, then go get Helium 10 and Smart Scout. And for calculation, I would just, oh yeah, seller amp
Seller,
and then keep, no, I would use seller amp though because I like
seller
seller amp the
yeah.
most. Yeah, and then Keepa as well. But now, since we're doing brand direct and outreaching, like with software alone would cost us at around like 2,000 monthly, which is
How
a lot.
much?
2,000.
2,000 because you
Yeah,
added more different. What tools are you using? Other tools that you're using? Smart Scout, you're still using that for brand direct?
that's correct. We're using Smart Scout, Helium 10 for advertising, and then Keepa. We have a lot of Keepa, like 3 to 4 accounts, I think. And then Seller app. Then it for the logistic software, which is what we use is 2D workflow, and then a lot of domains like email domain. Because if you want your email to be sent to the brand without being put to spam, you have to always send around like 30 emails, I think, a day, and we have 15 to 20 domain account for us to send it to them so it wouldn't be marked as spam. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
I see. So you're focusing really right now on emailing every day to create as much account as you want. And that's your way to scale already into multiple $1 million company, right? So to be able to get as much account, and you're doing it by the strategy is to get as much email with domain, right? For you to be
That's
able
correct.
to multiply your work. So that's good. But one thing that I want to ask you about tools for your profitability, do you use QuickBooks? So for you to know like how much money you're making, do you use still seller board? What are you using to calculate for your profit?
Yeah, I forgot to say those. We use QuickBook and Sellerboard at the same time. Yeah, Sellerboard is really great as well with knowing when to replans and your profitability. And for QuickBook, I don't really use it because I have my own accountant for that, and I pay my accountant like monthly to how do you call this again?
Bookkeeping,
To
for
keep
bookkeeping.
bookkeeping, to keep track of expense. So because and that's one thing as well that I delegated because I don't want my time with
Yeah.
accounting purposes. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really good. So let's talk about products, right? Did you focus on a particular type of product or category that help you scale faster, or it just happened naturally when you were doing arbitrage, you tried everything and then from there you got the result that you want to focus on, or are you still spread out up to now, or you're focusing only on certain categories?
So for arbitrage, usually for new sellers, they're still like gated from everything. And one thing that I focused the most was on clothing and apparels because that's what I am knowledgeable on. And afterwards, that's when I started being ungated on everything automatically. And that's when I just started focusing broad on whatever product we can find as profitable is what we will buy and sell it on Amazon. But now, since the more brand account we closest from the very beginning, we were doing broad sourcing, like every category that we can find on to source for brand and outreach is whatever we can take, right, and then outreach them. But now every time we are opening brands and they are on a specific category, that's the category that we would focus on the most and reach those brand and tell them that we're working on this brand. And that's what we are doing now, and that's like how we are opening account like in a high percentage compared from before this of just going broad.
Wow. So I want to ask you regarding when you were starting. It seemed like, so I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you do ungating in the beginning when you're new, or you just focus on your apparel and stuff until you get naturally ungated?
I only like, to be honest, like I didn't really stress out about ungating because I only did one brand for ungating, and ever since then I got automatically ungated on everything.
So which one is that? What category is that you decided to, okay, I'm gonna do the process of ungating? Is that grocery?
No, it's just apparels, which is Nike. And
Oh, so
afterwards that, because sold a lot of Nike apparel since I have connection as well with those from stores, and I would get heavily discounted pricing. And afterwards that, when I started getting automatically ungated and everything, that's when I started like selling every category.
so did you sell groceries? I'm curious because I know your specialization is really apparel. I'm
Mhm.
curious if you just focus on that or you also sold groceries before.
From before when I was doing arbitrage or brand direct.
Yes, arbitrage.
Or yes, I sold some, what do you call this again, grocery? Because like it's my virtual assistant that's doing the sourcing for me, and usually what she was doing is just reverse sourcing or using the Keepa. It's just like a lot of different category like home and health and beauty, and then grocery and clothing. Yeah, it's a lot of different category, honestly. And afterwards that, we would just record it as well on our Google sheet of the things that we would buy, and then we would just go back at it again if it price tank. I mean, if it price tank, then we would just record it as price tank. If it's not, then we would just, and then we would check again and see if it's not, if it didn't price tank, then that's when we would buy again. It's just recording. Yeah, that's the most important thing I think for arbitrage method as well. It's just every time you're buying product, always record it to Google Sheet, because that can be like your future product to buy again.
Yeah, so that's
Mhm.
one thing that I focus on when I'm teaching, right? That you need to really create the system and everything needs to be in a system. So one of them is like that recording, even if it tanks, you don't need to be scared of that because it can bounce back. So you need to have worksheet where you can record them. That's very important. If you're serious in this business, you really need to create the system. As you can see, John is doing that because you need to monitor every single part of your business. You don't need to do it on your own. You can hire people to help you, but that's very important that in the beginning, create your system that your business will flow, right?
That's correct. Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. So now so last year when you were doing arbitrage, it's completely just Amazon Canada, correct?
Yes.
And this year, okay, so you changed. Are you still solely for Canada or you already implement the selling in the US as well?
So we're only doing Canada since we're like our bottleneck right now is just capital. If we have more capital, maybe we can expand in the US, but there's so much opportunity here in Canada, to be honest. Especially there's tariff going on. It's just good to sell on Canada if you're in Canada, in my
Right.
opinion.
So a lot of people get scared that things are happening, right? Like so many issues right now. But actually, you need to see it as an opportunity because I believe that when things are happening, the money is always there. It just gets transferred to the right person or to the right people. So if you are on the receiving end, if you strategize yourself properly, you can be those people who will benefit. And I think that's what you're trying to say, that with what's going on, I think you're one of those who's benefiting and making money out of what's happening in Canada right now. Am I
That's
correct?
correct.
Yeah, so that's amazing to know. So you didn't even try selling in the US yet, and yet you're making this much money already. So I'm encouraging you, John, really try the niching on Canadian products because that's another money making that you can actually make, right? It can add into your business. So I want to ask you, are you already out money into your business that for personal expense, like for example, you give yourself salary already? Is that something that you're doing already, or you're investing back everything? You don't touch any of the profit?
I do have a salary, but that's a fixed salary. And I'm telling you, it's just way above, no, it's way below minimum wage salary. And I would take around like 1.5K, and that's all I really need to like live by every month. But at the same time, every net profit and profit that we're making from the businesses, we are always reinvesting it and growing the business.
So basically, you and your partner take small salaries and then you invest it into your business, right?
That's
So,
correct, yes.
so is there any changes in your life that you're taking salary already? Your parents, are they benefiting from it, from your business already? What's the changes in your life that you become an Amazon seller?
Ever since I started on Amazon, selling on Amazon, I started helping my family with their bills, with their mortgages, and paying it off. And with that, with their electricity bill, like anything, like if they just ask for money, I would always give it to them.
Wow, your parents are so lucky. Can you believe? I think the reason why you're successful is you're also very selfless. You like to help. And I always believe that when you give, you get it 10 times. And I think that's where you are. You just have a pure heart and a giving heart. So that's why the universe is also working to give it to you as much as it can flow because of that. So keep it up. I'm so happy that you can help your parents with paying bills and mortgage. Wow, that's amazing. For a 2 years, not even 2 years of becoming an Amazon seller, you can already do that. That's a really good achievement, John, I tell you. Okay, so let's continue. I have a few more. I know that you don't have much time, so sorry for doing some overtime. Okay, what's your mindset when it comes to risk, reinvestment, and scaling up? How do you stay grounded with such fast growth? Would you advise people, like maybe give an opinion on this, on how you think as an entrepreneur in terms of risk, reinvesting your profit, and scaling up?
So the most main thing is I would just always think I'm still young, and with that it comes with power that you don't have a lot of responsibility. That's why I always risk a lot of things. And if you just fall down 7 times, get up eight, and why every time if I do fail, like I would just always take that as a lesson. I don't take that as for me to be stuck and just quit. But yeah, like I have a lot of failure as well on Amazon, especially with doing brand direct now. We would reach like like 100 brands like a day, or even 100 to 500 brands like a week. And 90% of those is just straight decline, like them declining it. But that wouldn't affect me, and it would just motivate me more to open those brand and just think of it as like a lesson as always. And with that, with to keep me grounded as well, I would just always think of my why, and that's my why is always my parents, and always giving back to them, with them always with them like sacrificing a lot of things, with them working for us, giving us a better life. And that's like the reason why, like that's also the reason why I'm always like disciplined with making this business work, is because of the part is 90% was for them.
Wow, that's amazing. Happy to know that you are practicing what I taught you. So, are you still doing goal setting every year? Is that something that you still do?
Yeah, that's correct. We always have a goal, and that's something that we would always check every week or every month, and to make sure that we are always focused on that goal instead of being everywhere about it. And but yeah, like goal setting is something you really need if you want to achieve something.
Would you say, I'm just curious if this is, I just want a validation for myself of what I taught you about the strategy, right? How many pieces, those call to action that I planned for you guys, for my students. Is that something that you're practicing? And would you say that it's helping you to really scale up faster?
What I'm just doing right now is, if I have a yearly goal, I would just break it down to quarterly, to monthly, and week. And we would try to focus on those goals. But yeah, we would always have a deadline as well. If there's no deadline, it's just a thing, right? It's
Yeah,
just something that like,
so you have something like, you know how I tell you, okay, you need to ship specific number every month, every week.
that's correct.
You're doing that, right? Okay. So that's good to know. Okay. So I have few questions from my student, but I think a lot of them I already covered it. But one thing that's stood out here for me is how did you prevent your VA from stealing your ideas and strategies? I know that hiring a VA is like taking a risk. What made you feel comfortable that VA of yours is not gonna give away your ASINs or give away your information or start their own business? What made you think that it will be okay? So as an assurance.
So as an assurance, I never really think of it as a bad way or have a negative mindset in regards with them stealing my information or like what we are currently selling. Because my mindset is as long as you treat them good, they'll treat you good as well. Because my associate as well, every associate that I work with, I would always treat them as a human being, not just like for them to make me money, but for them to help them out as well. As well with my VA, they have their own holiday. Like tomorrow as well is an holiday, right?
Today,
I
it's today actually.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's today. Yeah. Yeah. I would always let them know if it's a holiday in your country, then just take a day off. That's paid off as well. And I would always give them bonuses as well. If we are seeing that the business is doing good, we would all I would always give them bonuses. But yeah, just treat them good in general, and they won't backstab you in general. But yeah,
Wow. So with them, they're lucky to have you as a boss. So I know that you found your VA in onlinejob.ph. What made you decide to get her? So what was your parameters in okay, so this person is better than the others. Did you do any sort of test before you decide, okay, we'll keep this just for other people who's thinking of hiring a VA?
so like the most important test that I did for them was the Keepa, reading the Keepa graph. And there's some few big things as well. Like the big thing is if it's the correct brand, right? That's on the listing on Amazon. If they didn't check that out, then that's completely no. And then the next one is IP compliant and is Amazon on it. But like those three big things, if those check out, then afterwards is reading the keeper graph. And I would let them know as well, okay, how many monthly sold, how many monthly should we restock? If they know that, then that's a good thing as well. That's a green flag. But the most important thing is would they want to grow my business as well? And if they suggest, then it's just a green flag for me. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so you
like pretty much I only interviewed three people and so I'm like, okay, this is you're good enough.
so basically you give them examples of different
That's correct.
ASINs
Mhm.
and then you ask them to analyze it. And then based from their analyzation, you would know if they really know what they're talking about or not, right? That's how you decide for it. Oh, good,
And oh
good.
yeah, the thing as well I did was like the trial. Like pretty much like three of those people like I accepted two and I told them, okay, you're gonna have 7 days trial and you're gonna find products for me for those 7 days and see. And that's when I would just test them out. Okay, are they giving me good leads or not? If they're giving me good leads, then that's after that 7 days. That's when I would decide who to pick. Those
Okay.
7 days trial, but
So
those
you
7 days trial was like paid as well.
paid as well. So you paid them. Okay. I only have a few more questions, but I think I forgot to ask you, how much now did you invest? Like now that you're growing, like basically move from arbitrage to brand direct, how much have you invested already in your business? Like before you started with 50K. So now it's brand direct, you order more. Did you invest another money aside from the 50K, or you just grew it and that's you just refocus your money into the new way of selling on Amazon?
So I can't disclose how much we invested, but the amount is at upwards around six figure. And since we're doing brand direct now, I grew that 50K as well to six figure. And when we're doing like brand direct, we know it's like safe and secure once you close the brand. Because if something happens on Amazon, they can always work with you instead of like arbitrage that if Amazon sent a policy notes, you can't do anything about it because you're not working directly with the brand. But now, since like we have a lot of brand that we are working with and a lot of ASINs that we can continue on restocking, that we're thinking of getting a loan, but I don't suggest getting a loan from the start because if you messed up big time, it's hard to get back, to be honest.
So basically you invested a little bit more aside from the 50K. And how much would you mind telling me how much sales do you have per month now, more or less?
We're doing at around 100,000 monthly in
Monthly.
sales.
Wow, so that's good. And that's like around 10 to 20% profit margin.
Right now, we're doing like 20 to 25% profit margin.
Even. So much better. So that's a really good way of moving from arbitrage to growing your business, because now also I think with the strategy that you have, you lessen the IP problems, right? Because you work directly from the brand, they can help you out if there's some issue and stuff like that. Wow. I'm
That's
so
correct.
happy for you. So now, last three questions I have. So what's your plan to grow more as an entrepreneur? I know that I always teach you that treat yourself not just an Amazon seller, but you're actually an entrepreneur, right? Are you doing something else aside from what you're venturing now? Are you doing anything else to fulfill, like to grow as an entrepreneur?
So yeah, we're doing a prep center businesses services now, and yeah, as you can see behind me, that's one of my boss for logistic, and he takes care of all my logistic, and we have another one as well, but he's away right now since there's only less product to prep at the moment. But yeah, we're only doing prep center at the moment, and at the same time we're focusing on brand direct.
Wow, so you have your own prep center now. Is it cheaper
Mhm.
than what most prep center? I know that a lot of prep center, they I think at least 90. How much? Like $1.99. I think $1 and something now. Would you mind sharing a little bit of, just in case for those who are interested to get your service, so we can plug it here? Like how much is the usual rate for you guys?
So the usual first rate has no minimum per month of how many unit we are going to prep for you. But like the is 90 cents per unit, and that's really cheap as well. And as well with
Mhm.
that, if you're an arbitrage product, or if you're doing arbitrage, we won't charge you any fee per unit because usually a prep center would charge you like 50 cents, I think, if it's
Mm.
an arbitrage product, but for us it's zero fee.
John, I want to ask you, okay? So if people will watch this and they're interested with tying up with you for
Mhm.
prepping, is there any discount for those who I could recommend? So for those who are watching, if they say, okay, I'm referred by Cheryl, I watch you in Cheryl's video, would you give them discount at least for them to try you?
Yeah, we would definitely do that. For that, for the first 500 units, because our cost base fee per unit is 90 cents. But with if you're referred by Cheryl and you told us that you're referred by Cheryl, we can give you a base fee of 60 cents for the first 500 units. And afterwards that, it's 90 cents per unit. And if you are currently dealing with other prep center as well, we can always beat that pricing. And our pricing as well is very competitive.
Oh, wow. So that's good. Like 60 cents for the next 500. I think that's a very good deal. So I'll just put in here. So if you guys want to connect with John, so I'll put the email address where maybe John, you can give it to me where they can reach out. Maybe try John. The 60 cents is really cheap. Do you take also beginners? Like for example, they're new on Amazon selling, because I know some prep center, they don't want newbies, like when they don't have much yet to ship. Are you okay with new, like for example, they only have 30 a week to ship and stuff like that, they're still brand new? Are you okay with that, like your prep center can do that?
Yeah, we are completely fine with that because our focus as well is the new people because we want to grow with you as well. Because that's what my experience as well is. I started an arbitrage model
Mhm.
and now I want to help other people that's doing arbitrage as well. And that's why with our fee as well, if you see any preps and charging like a fee for arbitrage unit, but for 50 cents extra, but for us, it will be zero fee. And yeah, there will be no minimum units per month if you ever want to work with us. However much you can ship is however much we will charge you with. And yeah.
Okay, I have a question, because a lot of, I know some sellers, they're very protective with their products, right? So since
Mhm.
you are also an Amazon seller, I'll be upfront with you already. So there might be a reservation of, oh, you're also a seller. What is their assurance that you won't steal my supplier, you won't steal my product, like ideas or ASINs and stuff like that? What would you say to those who are having reservations that you're also a seller?
Yeah, with that, to be 100% transparent with you, if you're an arbitrage, we don't really do arbitrage at the same time because we do straight brand direct. But then if you do wholesale, though, we are always committed to staying away with the brands that you're working with. And as well with that, we can always write a contract, an agreement that every time you would send product to us, we won't steal your product or we won't even bother trying to outreach the brand that you're working with. If you're doing brand buy, if it's arbitrage, we want steal the product that where you are buying.
Okay, so basically you're gonna give a contract to assure that
Mm-hmm.
you will never do anything with their product. That's good because I think not all prep center would give that assurance. Actually, they won't give you contract like that. So that's good to know. Please give me the information. So I'll put it here down below,
Okay.
guys, for John, and then make sure to tell that I referred you so you guys can get 60 cents for the first 500 unit. I think that's very generous. Thank you, John, for that. It's on
Mm-hmm.
the spot that you're giving that kind of incentives. Okay, so last one. So before we end, this is the last question I have for you. What's your advice to those who are starting, not sure of doing Amazon, a lot of problems right now with economy and stuff, and they're thinking, oh, maybe Amazon is like, especially arbitrage is not in anymore, or like selling on in Amazon Canada, like it's so small of a market. They have a lot of reservation. What would you advise to them based on your experience?
To be honest, if I can do it, you can do it at the same time. And with that, like at the same time, like this is business as well. So if you're not really consistent with it, you won't see any result. But yeah, you just have to be disciplined and you always have to believe that you will make it at the end of the day. Because as well with that, you just gotta focus at the same time too. If your goal is to succeed on this business, just have the mindset that I will succeed on this business.
Yeah, so thank you so much. For those of you who are wanting to also venture on Amazon, I am a coach. I coach John. John took the courses that I offered. And if you are interested, I'm putting the link below for the courses that he took. So actually, since I don't have plan to do mastermind right now, so I have a replay of that mastermind that he took as well. So the link will gonna be below if you're interested to do that. But I would suggest the mastermind needs to be if you're already selling, because it's more comprehensive as compared to the beginner's course. So it depends on your experience. So just go to the description and I'll have it, and you can click the link to if you're interested to purchase it. John, would you say that the taking the courses fast track your growth, or do you advise them to it's also okay to just watch YouTube? Because I know like some people, they say, oh, I can get that information for free and stuff. Would you say that the courses, having purchasing courses, help you in a way to fast track your growth?
Yeah, why I bought courses is it just fast track your growth, because if you search it up on YouTube or on the website, you have to scour around and see, okay, what do I do for step 1, step 2 to step 100. But with courses, it just gives you everything that you need to know step by step on what to do for the step 1 to step by. Yeah, courses really did help me a lot with my fast track. If I didn't take any courses, I would still be like, it would take me I would figure it out, but it would take me a long time to figure it out.
Thank you for that. Okay, last one. So what's your advice to those who are starting out? So as a seasoned Amazon seller already, what would you advise for those who are starting? So as last advice that you can give for them before we end this interview.
Yeah, if you're thinking of doing Amazon, just do it, because the first step is always the hardest, but afterwards that everything will be okay.
So thank you so much, John. Really, like, I appreciate that you take your time. I know that your time is very valuable, and you're running a big business already. And thank you. It will help a lot of my students as well, to that we had a chance to pick your brain and see how you did it. And again, congratulations and thank you so much.